In this video, you will learn how you can make an interactive bar chart in Chart.JS 2. So this is a very important one because here we're going to play with interactivity of a bar chart or interactivity with a chart. And what that truly means is basically this. When someone presses a button or triggers something, the chart adjusts it. So it does not get any new values, but it starts to adjust itself or update itself based on the actions that a viewer or a user does on the chart. And that's the most advanced version of Chart.JS. So let's explore here. So we have the example here. We have this branch sales, and we have here, please note, here, this is Chart.JS version 2.9.x that we're going to use. So if you're using a different version, you do not have to worry much. Most likely, many of these commands and functions you're going to use are JavaScript based, and they will work in any Chart.JS because Chart.JS is a JavaScript library. So let's look at this. So we can see here we have three bar charts here, branch 1, 2, and 3, and we have these three color pickers here, and we have here the branch legend or the legend here with the branch names and the values. And what will happen if we, for example, select or increase the value? As you can see, as we do this, instantly Chart.JS starts to redraw or update the chart based on the values inserted. Next, if we have the legend, for example, this is not branch 1, but we want to give this a proper name, for example, shopping mall, branch at the shopping mall. As you can see here down below, you can see now the values being shown. So we can say a shopping mall, or we can say branch mall. This would be branch Main Street. And this one would be branch market, etc., etc. So you can see here, as we type in, instantly these values are adjusted. And if we start to select here a different color, let's make this a nice yellow color. Like that. All right. Once we did that, we click on this. All right. As you can see now, the chart starts to adjust itself in color. So we're going to learn how to do these interactivities, and this is really the fun part because this teaches you how you can really create a dashboard with showing data. Because the goal of a chart is basically to communicate the most important items visually. So instead of numbers, we start to show it visually, and this helps us to get better information. But of course, the more interactive it becomes basically interactive chart means a personalized chart because I can adjust the thing to my desired preferences. And this is highly advanced. Alright, so let's look at this and let's explore this. So first of all, let's look at what we're going to do here. We have multiple items that we need to do. Number one, we're going to create a bootstrap template. Basically what we're going to do is this. We're going to duplicate this in our template here. And this is our blank template. You can see here. Test, there's nothing in here. So what we need to do more is we create a bar chart with the Chart.JS code. We're going to get we create the bootstrap card, which we have here down. This is a card with input field that we have here. And we're going to use the bootstrap 5.0 beta version, which is interesting because they have the nice color picker. They have this and they have that. So that's all fine. Once we did that, we're going to give ID numbers to the field numbers or ID names to the field inputs. Same here. And then we're going to connect them with JavaScript. Then we're going to connect them to the array. Then we start to display them and do the new connection with an update function. And then after that, we're going to do the text input here. And after that, I see I have a mistake here. Text input should be the color input. So we're going to do all of those. And this will be a lot of fun because once you learn this, you will enjoy Chart.JS far more and you can make it more personalized. And if you like to learn more about Chart.JS, check out my Udemy course about Chart.JS, which goes deep in everything about Chart.JS. So that will be also fun as well for someone who wants to dive deep in everything. Alright, let's start to create our chart. Number one here, we have this here. What we need is we're going to create a basic bootstrap template here. So let's go here. And this is the bootstrap 5.0. As you can see here, maybe quite hard to see, but this is 5.0. You can use any one you want, but I would recommend 5.0 for the color picker. All right, in here, what we're going to do is we're going to get the getting started, and then we have the introduction. Let's see here. We scroll down a little bit down, and we have the starter template. This is the one we want, because the starter template gives us the basics. Right, we copy this. I'm going to remove this here and paste that in here. So once we did that, we can go back to our tab here. This is the test tab. You can see hello world, and I will say here now, I will give it a title. This will be Chart.JS 2.9.x, and then here this will be a interactive bar chart in Chart.JS 2.9.x. Alright, so we know that this is same. We just save this for now. Once we have this, refresh this here. Alright, so we got a template. Let's go here to the next step. Alright, what do we need to do next? We have to create a bar chart. So we're going to create a little bit more bootstrap template. Let's give it a nice green color here, and we're going to make the cards here. Alright, so we're going here, and then let's make the cards here. So right now you have all of this text here. Let's delete this. We don't need that. That's all additional information. No need for that. Alright, so between here we're going to work, and I'll just give it, for simplicity's sake, I will just give the body a background success for the green color. So we just copy the color design. Alright, so in this body here, we will start to have a div class. And in this one, we'll say a column 8. And then we say offset 2, meaning that we're going to have some space between here, because in there we will build the card. Alright, so now we can say div class, and then we say here card. And then in here, I'll just give it a div class, and then I'll say here card body. Alright, we're not going to use the card header. And in the card body, here we say, let's double check what was the text here. We can say branch sales. Alright, I will just copy this for quick sake. And we just put in here the branch sales. And probably we can say here text, and then here class card title. And if you want to make this black here, we could put a badge or thing, but it's not that important right now. Alright, so we're getting better here now. This looks decent. And next one here, of course, will be another div. And here, what I will do is I will just give it a border. And the reason why you just have a border here between, so that it looks nice. Border bottom. There we are. Alright. In here, we will start to put in the Chart.JS. So if you look here, we have this, then here will be the Chart.JS. So basically this is a column, and this is a column. So for that, we're going to use in Chart.JS, let's get the Chart.JS first. So in here, this is a Chart.JS site, chartjs.org, getting started or get started. And then in here, we're going to get the basic chart creation here. We have this here. We can copy this for now, because this is already fine. I'll just copy all of this. So that's in the introduction. We'll put it down here below. Let's say we can put it here. We say script. And then we close this. Make sure that script is small s. We should not have a large s here. Capitalized s. Everything here between. Alright, we save this. Alright, so what's going on here? You can see here we have the canvas ID. I'm going to cut that out. And then there's already script code in here. So that's redundant. I guess we can all remove the redundancy. Alright, we just clean up here. And now we're going to have this one there. Let's save this and see what we have so far. If we refresh, nothing happens. Why? Because we didn't get yet the JavaScript library of Chart.JS. So let's look where we have that, or where we can find this. We need to get probably installation. Go on installation. I'm just going to get the CDN, and I would even recommend to download it. I have the codes already in here, so I will later on I will just copy that one probably, so it will save us loading time. However, let's see here, it's true deliver if I'm not mistaken here. Let's double check here. So we have package. Can we get the Chart.js? I just searched it. CDN Chart.js. Alright, that's the one. So what I need is, I need the script tag. This is the Chart.JS min. You can see this is 2.9.4. And whichever you select does not matter. I'll just do this one, that would be fine. This is the bundle with everything in there what we need. Let's go here. And we will put it in here. So very important in here, if you're going to put in the script, the JavaScript code, make sure the JavaScript code is above the JavaScript chart, or the Chart.js library is first before you put in this. If not, you will get an error message. Alright, so we're now very close to having our design. Let's go back here, refresh. Alright, so we have something here now. As you can see, it starts to do something that is, it's creating a chart. Now let's put in the final item, or let's look here what we need to do. Well, what we need to do is we need to create a bootstrap card plus input fields. So let's create the card now. So I'm going to search here for card in bootstrap. Card styles, card layouts, anything you want. If you scroll down, we have one with the left and right. So that's the one I'm going to select. Scroll down here. And I like these kind of card components because they are easier to use and it's a nice overview. So let's scroll down a bit more. We're almost there. There we are. The horizontal card. That's the one we need. You can see here there's the max width. We will remove this. We don't need that. All right, we're going to copy this. We put it in here. And let's put it in here first. So, and then after we will fine tune everything. So we're going to jump it in here. Once we have this, what we need to do next is the following. Alright, we already have the card details here. So probably the core information we have. So this is the row. And then you have a MD4. MD4 is the column of 4. We can remove this. We will make it 6 by 6. Alright. The reason why we will have the image or the canvas will be in here. And then the text will be in here. So we're going to remove all of this text for now. We'll just leave that one in there. That would be fine. We're going to cut this out. Oh, sorry. No, we don't going to cut this out. Sorry. You can see here, this is the card MD. We can remove this. I don't want this one. And this one is matching with that. So we don't need this because we already have the card. Go to cut away that. There we are. Get that. Put this in here between. Alright. There we are. So now in here we can put the canvas. So let's go here to our canvas or Chart.js. We cut that out and we're going to put this in here. So now we have this. Let's save this and let's look at our nice design. Alright, it starts to look way better. So we have a card title here under. We're going to remove that one because that's probably basic text. And we have space here for the sides. Let's start and explore that. So we have this card title here. First of all, what we're going to do here, in here, we will be putting again some extra information. And what is that extra information? Well, we will be putting here the inputs. And you can see the inputs here. If you scroll down, 1, 2, 3. 3 inputs here. So there will be a legend at the top. That text we might be able to remove that. It's up to you if you want to have that. And then we have here a 2 column size. This is a 5 column size, and this is a 5 column size. So we're going to do that one here as well. Let's go for it. Alright, so first of all, I'm going to remove this here. Oh, I'm going to remove this. This should not be 8, it should be number 6. This card body here is already in there. So we probably don't need a double card body. And in here now, we have that. And then what we will do here, we say div class. And what we need to do here is basically adding the inline forms. So what we're going to do here, let's look here for forms. And all we will get is basically a inline form, and the inline form will consist of 3 items here. This is probably the one we need. Is there not a better one? No, this is the best example. So I'm going to copy this by clicking here on the clipboard, and then we go back here, and we're going to put it all between here. I'm going to paste this in, and as we paste it in, we will have to put in the information. So we have this label here, which we don't need. We don't need a label here. Column will be column 2. This will be column 5. And this will be column 5. Alright. This helper, no need. This will be an input. Alright. So we have now here an input, and this will be input text. Why input text? Let's look here. There, item. The second one is text, third one is number, and the first one will be color. So we go back here, we go back here, we go to our text here, or our document, or HTML document. In here we say input type text, and then this one ID we'll give it later on. Form control. This we can just delete this for now. No need for this. To keep it simple. Next one is this item here. This will be number. ID will be maintained as well, and then the final one will be eventually the color. So in here we need to have a color picker. I'm not sure if this is color. Let's see if that really works. Let's save that and refresh. Oh, and there we are. Oh, apparently it is color. So, but if we want to really check if it's color, let's search here for the inputs. I will type in color. Color forms. Let's say color. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. I want the forms. Then I want the input types, or the select control forms. Probably it's in here. There you are. You can see your view on page, color. There we are. This is the one we need. Alright. The only issue what we missed was the ID, form control color. Or the class, sorry, not the ID. We have the class here. We say ID equal whatever. Alright. So we've got these. Now we have 1, 2, 3. Alright. We're very close now. If we save this, go back here, refresh, we are almost there. What we can do is, this should be basically match. I'm surprised it's not really matching. So I will say, I'll just leave that for now. But that's alright. What we're going to do is, we need to add up more. And the reason why is simple. We have extra items. We have, if you look here, we have 3 items. So we're going to put 3 items here as well. So I'm going to add this up. And one more time. So now we have 3. And what we're going to do here is, for this we say here, this is the row. Probably what we can do in this row here, I will just give it a paragraph. And in this paragraph we say legend. And maybe this paragraph could be a class card title. So it's a bigger one, will be more emphasized. That is fine. Refresh, there we are. So that starts to look fine. And now if we select anything, what happens? It maintains small. Later on I will research on that one. However, now we have these. And what I do want to do is I want to put in some space between these 2 charts here. Or the chart and the legend. So what we're going to do here in chart, we're going here. Probably this width here is no need. Let me say here, class. Let me say margin 3. We save this, refresh. Oh, start to get adjusted, but not exactly how I desire to have that. Let's say padding 3. Refresh. Alright, that's slightly better. Now we have the padding. Alright. What we need to do is the following. I'm going to put in the text here, which is the input fields. We're going to give it text, and we're going to give it ID numbers. So what will be the text here? We will say here branch 1, 2, and 3. So this will be text branch. This is the branch text ID. This is the branch value. And this will be the branch color ID. Let's go back here. We go in here, and then we say here branch, because this is the color, branch 1 color. And then we say here branch 1. Oh, sorry, this is not what I want. This is not here. Sorry. Should be here. Make sure you pay attention here. It should be in the input type, not in the div column. So we say here branch text. Then we say here branch text, branch 1 text, and here this could be just branch 1 for the value. That's fine. Same story here. Oh, I need to make sure I am paying attention here. We copied the item. Here will be branch 2. Then this one will be branch 2 text. And this will be branch number 2. It will be the value. Finally here, and then almost similar issue here, we delete that one, and then we say branch color number 3, branch text number 3, or branch 3 text. All right, then we say here branch 3. All right, so we have given now the IDs here, and let's go back here, but we have no values yet. So let's start to put in values, and after we're going to clean up here our chart. So we're going to give this value. So what will be the value here? The value here, this will be number 4. We can basically copy this. The text here will be branch 3, and the color here will be this has to be a hashtag or a hex code. So that means here, let's make this blue, 001199. All right, so this will be more blue than, and it's slightly greenish. In here, we do the number, so we say value here again. This will be the value, let's say number 3. And here, the text will be branch number 2, branch 2. Finally, the color here will be greenish, so we say here hex code 009911, where remember RGB, so you have these colors. Of course, you can do any color you desire. Here, next value, this will be number 1 for branch 1, that's fine. Then here we will have branch 1, and finally we have here the color, and this will be a red color, hashtag 991100, meaning it will be red with slightly greenish color in there. Alright, save this, refresh, there you are, we get the colors, that looks nice. Now what we can do is start to put in, or start to clean up this here. We're going to start to work on the chart. So we're going now on the chart here, and let's scroll down here to the bottom. Oh, sorry, not. Yes, we have to go to the bottom because our JavaScript is in here. So we have this here. We probably understand all these here most of the time, and then we have here the labels. So the labels here should be branch 1, 2, and 3. But if we save this, well, I'm going to remove all these values. We only have 3 values right now. And we say here, not number of votes, but this will be the branch sales. And you can do anything you want. I'm going to delete these values here in the array. Just only put in 1. And then same story here. 3 items because 3 colors. However, the last one has no comma. Border width, that's fine. Ticks begin at 0, that is fine as well. So let's save this. Go back here, refresh, and there we are. So now we have a certain level of design that we want. However, we need to match these in here. So how to do that? So let's go back here for next step. We're going to connect our input number fields with a JavaScript. How to do that? Well, this will be quite simple once you understand JavaScript. This is why Chart.JS is truly fun. Once you understand Chart.JS, you will understand as well how you can connect with each other. So we're going to get here this. We're going to put some enters here, and then we say here a variable. And what is this variable? We will call this variable because we want to have the values first. Let's see these values here, the data. We're going to get these first. And remember, that is branch 1 or branch number, branch ID. Branch plus the number will get you the value. So we say here, and branch 3, so we're going to copy this variable branch number 1 equals get element, meaning we're going to get an element by ID. We're going to extract the ID, and then we say here, which ID do we want? Well, branch 1. So once we have this, we can do exactly the same for 2 and 3. Alright, so once we did that, if you want to understand what we've got so far, we can do here a console.log and just say branch 3. Save this. I'm going to go back here, refresh. Oh, let's open up other things. We are having a get element by ID is not defined. Alright. Alright, the reason why we don't get that is, of course, our document. Never forget that one, document.getElementById, because which document are we getting? We we need to get it from the document itself. Let's refresh this. Refresh. All right, there it is. Now it starts to look fine again. Now you can see here we get this. What we get is we get the element of ID. So we get the entire element, we get the input number, branch, etc., etc. I don't want this, and you probably don't want as well. Why? We only want to have the value. So what we're going to do here is, if we say here branch tree value equals branch tree dot value, and then what we do is we're going to copy this and put it in here, save this. Now we have extracted only the value out of this, and that's exactly what we want. Alright, so now you understand what we have to do here. The reason I'm showing you this is because this will become your hidden answer, or this is the secret to include them in here. So what do we do here is copying this value here, put it in here. Alright, you can delete this because we just used the command. So this is branch 3. So what about branch 2 and 1? You probably guessed it already. Branch 1, 2, and 3. Alright. Once we save this, start to refresh, now we can see here, let's close this. Branch 1 is showing this, the sales of 1, 3, and 4, that is correct. But if we adjust this, nothing happens. So we're not done yet. How can we do this? Well, let's go back here. What we need to do now is, we need to start to connect it together. To connect this, first of all, I want to remove this legend sales, because this is not necessary for us. Or the branch sales. This legend here doesn't have any function. So let's go here. We say here legend. And then we say false. So do we want to display legend? No. Save. Refresh. There you are. We remove that. That makes it slightly cleaner and increases the size of it. Alright. So what we have here is what we can do as well is immediately connect these together. Yeah, so let's put in this item in here as well. Very similar process. How do we do that? Well, you probably guess it. Basically, we copy all of this. We put it in here. And then we ask ourselves, what is the text or what's the ID? Well, it's branch text tree or branch tree text. So all we have to do here is just to add text. Text and text. Text, text, text. Alright, so once we have that, we can just add this up here in the labels. So we say here, basically the following. We can say here, branch 1 text dot value. Then we do the same here and the same there. Number 2, number 3. Alright, let's save that and let's see what happens. Refresh, and you can see now we have the branch. You can probably guess already how to do this in colors as well. So now we have these ready. We can do it for the colors as well. And if you look at the colors, I was wondering why it was not showing up correctly. I realized what's the reason. Because we have a mistake in here in the class. It should be like this. This is the form control and this could be removed. The moment we remove this, it should look more appropriate. There you are. Alright, so let's solve that one immediately. And just remove that and add that here, the color. So that looks way better. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to connect the colors as well on here. So how to do that? Well, let's scroll down to the bottom to our Chart.JS here. We can do very similar to the colors. We can copy the same structure here as we did before. Remember the branch ID name. And what is the branch ID name for colors? It's branch number and color. So we can copy this. I'm going to put it in here. So we say here branch number color will be 3, and branch number color 1. 1, and then double click, 2, and double click, 3. Alright, so we have this. Now we're going to insert these as well in here. So how will we do this? Well, exactly the same as what we did before. We can just copy this. We're going to put them in here. So if you can see here, just to avoid any mistakes, I'll just show this. We just delete this text here and we put in this branch text value, no quotations because it's not a string. If you put in a solid code like this, the color combination, this is a string. Else is not a string because our situation right now is a variable. And a variable is not a string. Very important to remember. We say here number 3, number 2. Same story for this goes for our border color. Unless you want to have a different border color. So let's save this. Go back here. Oh, now we have something here. We have to double check what's going on here. However, we have our, no, of course, should be color. Sorry, my bad. Put in the color name. Color and color. 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 And color. Save this. Go back here. Refresh. Nice. But however, if we select a different color, let's say we make this green, what happened? Nothing happens. Why? Because we didn't connect them yet. So now we're going to connect this. And to connect this, we need to use some wonderful commands in here. So let's look at this here because we're going to do the basically at the bottom. And what we're going to do is the following. First of all, what do we want to do? Well, we want to connect certain items together. So let's look at our list. Where are we now? So we create the input number fields, we develop the array, yes, and now we need to display the connection to create a new connection. A new connection is basically a function on update. To do this, first we need to have the function in these inputs here. So how will we do this? Well, we will do this based on a on-click or on-change event. So let me explain here why we're doing this. Because remember, we're creating an interactive chart. What is an interactive chart? A chart that adjusts itself based on triggers of the viewer, user, or customer. And in our case, the moment we adjust this, which creates an interactivity, which is connected because they are interactive. The moment we adjust this, here it will be adjusted as well. Alright? So this is an interactive chart, so we need to do an on change based on an event or a trigger. So we say here, for example, for color, we can do here on change. And this function here, what is the function we're going to create here? We will say here, update chart function. Alright, that's fine to use. So that's for on change. And we say here the following. This one is a text, so every time we type, we should have an adjustment. You can use different things. You can use on change. I would suggest on key up. And the reason why is that every time you type in a number, it will adjust. And the same here. Here you can do on key up or maybe on change as well. Probably on change is better in this case. On change equals, oh, you can just put a space between here, save this. And the reason why on change is better, I will show you later. Probably makes more sense. Because it's on key up will be triggered only if someone lets the key press up or let go of the key press. However, on change, it will keep on changing, and this will be important so you have a consistent increasement. So let me show, I will show you that later on so you have an understanding of that. Alright, we copy all of this. What we have here now, we do exactly the same here. We say on change here, we'll save this and say here on key up. And here, same on change. Let's go to branch 1. This is the number, this is on change, on key up, and here again on change. Alright, once we save this, nothing will happen, of course. Oh, sorry, nothing will happen here. This is the one we need. Why? Because it's not yet connected. It's not connected to a function. As you can see here, if you do the developer tab, it gives an error. Sorry, update chart is not defined. Fair enough, let's start to define it. So we go down here, and we're going to create here a new function, and this function will be triggered the moment something happens, and the function is update chart. So basically, once we type in something in the input, that triggers this function. So we say function, and this function will be called update chart. That is correct, since this is the one we're doing. Then here we make this semicolon. No, function. Make sure you type that correctly. Function. Then in here, we're going to put in the first update. We're going to update only the variables first. So we say here variable. Then we say update values equal. Then what are we equaling? Or what is this? Well, if you're wondering what we want to update, if we're going to update the values in the input, you probably remember this one here is the data branch of the data values. So all these branch values are here. So we want to update the value. So what is this update value? Is just exactly the same this here. It's this values here. Why? Because these are the values that we want to select or extract. Remember that. That's what we're going to extract, but then based on what is typed in here. Because the moment we type in here, this values here is basically new values compared to the one in here. Yes? And that's what we want to say. Say, okay, alright, get these values from the get element IDs. Get them from the IDs immediately instead of from our system. Because these are all variables. Alright, so once we have that, then what we can do is we can now start to connect them together. So what we're going to do now is we say here, and then we're going to put in the item value here. So what we're going to get here, so you have here the variable ctx, and then you have here my chart equal new chart. Yeah, so this is equal to chart. So this is what we're going to get. We get the chart, and then in here we're going down in the data. We're going to the data set. We're going to data, and what we're going to do is we're going to update. So what we're going to update is basically this one here. So we say here chart, and since this is capitalized, we can use this one. It's capitalized. Yeah, that's capitalized one. Am I correct? Yes. So let's see here. Then we put in the data, because where are we going to extract it? From here, we're going to extract it in here. And then we go to data sets, and this data set is the first array. Remember, this symbol here indicates an array within. So we say here data sets dot data sets 0. This is the first one, and then we say the data, because that's the values we want to extract. All right. In here, we will say this is equal to what? Equal to the latest value here. Put it in here, semicolon, and then once we did that, we can say now chart dot update, because we're going to update the chart now. Semicolon. Let's save this. Go back here. Let's refresh. And now, if you would see here, all right, it doesn't work. Let's double check what we had a mistake. It's supposed to work, and probably I figured out the issue. I was questioning this one. It's probably this here, my chart. Let's copy my chart. Make sure. Let's save this, because this is probably the one we need. This equals that. All right. Refresh, and let's see here. Ah, there you are. This works. As you can see now, we have to update my chart. So what we have is here is basically this variable. My chart is the chart that is in this canvas, because this is a canvas that's being drawn. And my chart, then in data, then in data sets, and then we have here the data values, or the data itself. We can update this. All right. So that works here. We have this now. So you probably already guessed now here, if we can adjust this here, what can we do next, or how can we adjust the branch? Well, if you understand exactly here, and this is basically, if you understand this part, this is the core part. And I will make a video specifically for this, because this, if you understand that one, it will be very important. You can start to learn how to communicate. However, let's do another one. All right, what do we want to do next? What do we want to update? Well, we want to update, let's say we want to update the label. So how do we do that? Well, we go from my chart to data and then labels. All right, let's do that right now. So we say now here, variable, and then we say update labels equals. And then we have, what is the labels update? It's the branch text. So we can get these things here, the entire branch text. We copy that, delete the comma at the end, and put a semicolon. And what we do now is basically the same. We say here, my chart, where it's coming from, data.labels. Am I correct? Is it labels or label? It is labels. All right. So that's important. So labels equals update labels. Semicolon, save, refresh. Now if I type in here, let's pay attention here. If I say 111, all right, branch is working. If I delete this, that's correct. If I do this, that's correct. If I do that, that's correct. And if I increase this, no problem at all. All right, we are very, very close now. So let's look at next here. So what are we doing? We want to make the input dynamic. Can we make this should be the color? Can we make the color dynamic? And after that, we're going to look at how we can make this chart a bit more nicer displaying. All right, so we're going to do the final one, which is the colors. How do we do the colors? Well, if you understand just what I did, you probably figured this one out as well. We have here the branch colors. We're going to update, and we have to copy just this part here. So I'm going to copy this for the branch color value. And then what I'm going to do is here, I will say here variable update colors equal, and then we put in the text we just had. There we are. Then here another one. There we are. And branch here, last one. All right. So this is our new array, our latest array with the latest update. So my question now to you is, see if you are sharp with this one. Where will we put these colors? Will we only update the background color, or will we also update the border colors here? All right. So the answer, of course, is both. Yes, we did it here, background color and border color. So how we do that? Well, simply doing the same here. We say here again, let's do it here below. We say my chart is capital C. Make sure that's a capital C because that's the ID or the variable name. Data sets, and this is the first array. So that's 0 dot. What will we put in here? If we look here up, we have my chart data sets. Background color is capital C here, and then after the border color is capital C. So I'm going to copy this. There. Background color equal what? Well, it's equal updated colors or update color. There we are. And now exactly the same here for my chart. Yes, data sets, and then the first array, which is 0 border color equals update colors. All right, save this. Let's refresh. There we are. Let's check the branch. Let's type in here. Yeah, all right, that works. Let's select now something interesting. All right, once we did that, and go back here. There we are. Let's go here. Make this purple. There we are. And let's make this yellow. There we are. So this works beautiful. So what I want to show you is we're going to on click and key up or on change. You can see this is on change. I'm holding my key down, and as I hold it, it keeps on increasing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to adjust this one. This is branch 1, and I will change this instead of on change, on key up. All right. And if we go in here, branch 1, and then we say here the value will be on key up. Save, refresh, and now let's look at it. If I press now on key up, I'm keeping the press up, nothing happens. If I let go, bam, there it is. So this is probably not what you want unless someone will press it single time and let it go. But if someone press hold, you have a problem. And this is basically why you should use the key up. You might say, well, why are we using it for text? Well, here in text, key up is required if you want to type in something with multiple letters, because no one will hold the letters consistently. So that's basically the main reason here. All right, so you have that understanding as well. So now we are almost done. What are we going to do now more? We're going to give it some nicer design here. And the cleaner a chart, the more professional it looks. And that's what we're going to do here. So what are we going to do? Well, we need to play around with our scales. In the bar chart, we can start to do all of these here. So let's go back here. Let's scroll down here to the bottom. We can look here at the options here and where we need to do. You can see here the ticks begin at 0. So if we look here at our scales, and we want to remove these scale lines or the grid lines, we have to do a few things. Yes. So what we're going to do here, well, let's go to our bar chart. Go to the Chart.JS library. Oh, no, that's not this one. This is the one. So chartjs.org. Scroll down to bar chart, and let's look here. We scroll down here, and you will see your example usage. All right, we have all these options here. Label order, background colors, whatever you want. You can do a lot more. Bar thickness, scales, offset, grid lines true. So grid lines offset. So for example, here, where are we going for it? Let's look at our options here. Example doesn't show really here clearly, so we're going here at grid lines. Axis with grid lines true. And what we want to do is we want to hide the grid lines or hide the scale. So what we can do here is ticks. We say display, and that's of course not in here. It's probably in ticks. It's in Cartesian linear. So it's in the axis. We're going to pinpoint the axis, which is an option. In the options, we say the ticks. All right, the ticks configuration, and begin at 0. Yes. So why begin at 0? Let me hide this first. All right. If we don't begin at 0, what will happen here is it starts and it assumes that value 1 is the starting point. Look at this. There's no 0 anymore. So we say begin at 0, that's true. All right. Once you do that, you can see now it starts to work. However, we can clean it up more. Let's hide it with a display false. Make sure you have a comma here. All right. Now you can see the scales are now disappearing or are not showing anymore. What we have more is we can do the grid lines as well in the y-axis. So in here we can say comma, we say grid lines false, save. Now what happened is we see the y-axis grid lines are hiding. As you can see here, there's the y-axis, it's in the scales, ticks, grid lines, y-axis hiding. So what about if you want to do the x-axis? So you want to hide these ones. So what I mean by y-axis is y-axis are connecting here to this part here. It's connected to the vertical lines. However, it is not the vertical line because it's the horizontal version of it. Yes. But so what about these lines here, which are the vertical lines going horizontal? Yeah. So basically, to understand this is if you want the y-axis is always going vertical, going up. Like here, 1, 2, 3. So these lines, which indicate the 1, the 2, the 3, are gone. So what about this one? This is going here to the left, from left to right, which means that this would be 1, this is 2, and this is 3, which is the value on the x-axis. That's what we want to hide as well. How to do that? Exactly the same. We put in a comma here, we say x-axis, semicolon, and then we say here, of course, this is the same. This is an array as well. So an array in an array. And then we say here, grid lines, all right, semicolon, false. Save this. Go back here. There you are. And now you really have a nicely designed item here. As you can see, everything is completely matching, looks professional. And if you look at our, what do you call this, the tooltip, you will see here, it will start to change as well. So if I delete something here, so pay attention to, as I press delete here, pay attention to this tooltip here with the weird branch name. So I'll have to move because it won't work if I don't move. So if I delete now, you can see, and if I keep on moving now and then I delete, you can see the branch name is starting to disappear. But if I don't do that, if I just keep on typing and not moving my tooltip or my mouse, you can see the mouse over the tooltip will not update until I move again, so it will refresh, as you can see here. So this is basically how you do it, and this is a way to work with more interactive chart bars, a bar chart in Chart.JS 2.9. And there's a lot more. So if you enjoy these kind of videos, and I truly love this, because there's so much more you can do. What I mean by that is you can, for example, copy this, create another version, combining interactively together, which you get, again, nice designs. However, that's it for now. So if you enjoy these kind of videos about Chart.JS and you want to go deeper in Chart.JS, check out my Udemy course. It's in the description box below, where you can learn more about Chart.JS and dive deep in there. If you have a question, maybe you're struggling with the codes here, and I don't blame you. This is a quite long video, quite challenging, with a lot of new things in there, but very exciting items. However, but if you struggle with it, you're getting an error, post them down in the comment section below. I'll make sure I reply back to you. If you have another suggestion or you have another question about something else about Chart.JS, because Chart.JS is more than just a static chart. And I will be going one time on the basics, more deeper, which is really required to understand, to know Chart.JS really from really in depth. So I hope you enjoyed this. I've truly enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, just let me know.